Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 52 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back. I am Ben, and I am joined by another Ben. I'm joined by Blood Type Ben on the phone. Ben, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. How you doing?
I am good. However, it's not on the phone at all, is it? No one's. I used the word telephone at work yesterday as well.
Telephone.
Yeah, I was doing an induction for people, and I was like, right, you can bring it up on your telephone, and I just felt a million years old.
I saw a thing earlier today, which was like, yeah, you don't know like your wife or your girlfriend's phone number, but you can definitely remember the landline number of your best friend from like 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Just that's very true.
02380.
Hang on, you're going to dox yourself.
Yeah. There you go. That's Ian's no. If anyone heard that, that's Ian Warhammer Hallam's mum's telephone number, I think. Let's hope they change it. I mean, quite frankly, who even has a landline anymore?
I don't know. I haven't seen one in a while.
I have never had a landline. Like, in all the houses I've lived in with Tiff and stuff, never had a landline. Mum bought a new landline the other month, which I thought was hysterical, just before the apocalypse. A very fancy one. Like a digital rotary phone from the range, and she was really excited by it. And I was like, no one phones. Like, the only people that phone are people from Nigeria trying to convince you to give them money.
Yeah.
Like,
I just genuinely never accept phone calls because I know they're not actually a human.
It's going to be someone pretending to be from Amazon. It was really funny. Like my grandparents, when they were around, they would repeatedly ask me every time they saw me, like, "Oh, is your laptop okay?" I'm like, "My laptop's fine. Yeah, why? Why?" They're like, "Oh, we kept getting phones saying it had a virus."
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh no, oh, let's not do that." Man, I don't even know. Yes. Ben is joining me via the interweb to talk about Blood Bowl. All right, it's episode 52. It's been a heck of a month, and I think we'll probably end up just having a bit of a chat and a catch up this episode. Mm-hmm. We are going to talk through a few things. Ben, light us up, man. What are we chatting about today?
We're going to be talking about MegaBowl, and we've got some updates for that, and the usual games hobby, and many, many star players.
Many star players. We're going to be looking at just the state of play when it comes to star players in Blood Bowl 2020, because they all changed, they all got different, and a whole bunch of them got gone. And I thought it'd be worthwhile just talking through what that means for the meta, I guess, or use for a league, and to link into the YouTube show that we've got going on, the Star Player Spotlight, where every day we're doing a quick 10-minute video on a star player from Blood Bowl 2020, giving it a bit of a breakdown. It's been really fun to do. I have learnt a lot about those star players. Some things I have found harrowing, some things disappointing. Most of it I really love, though, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, it is actually. I'm really happy with this new. It feels like rotation, Ben, like from a CCG, and
we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, in the hobby. Right, let's do our duty. Let's go through Blood Bowl news very quickly. We do actually have some Blood Bowl news. We've got some teams on the go, various different angles that the designers have taken, and I think that just goes to show all the different things that people like in Blood Bowl. Because it is miniature game, but it is also board game, and that means you can pimp your team however you like, and we've got a team that is definitely pimped here. We have got the Serial Killers Fantasy Football Team. Well, I can't remember what the actual Black Wolf Studios, there it is, but it's by a guy called Thor. If you are on the Blood Bowl community, or if you've been Blood Bowling in England for a while, you'll know Thor. He paints some ridiculous teams. In fact, he came to Beachhead and came narrowly second. With that, with that classic Nurgle ogre team. So it was like an ogre team, but all of the ogres were great unclean ones from like the 80s and 90s. It was
really beautiful paint job.
It was wicked. He had a horrible first game. I was sat next to him actually.
Oh no.
It was like first ogre was like casualtied before the game had even started. So so he had a rough tournament, but lovely team. Anyway, we are looking at the Serial Killers fantasy football team, and those of you who are watching on YouTube will see that it is a fast food themed team. So you may have seen it already. So let's just have a quick look at what you get. So the angle is that the linemen are popcorn. So they're, I mean, what's the style? Does the style remind you of anything, Ben?
It does, but I can't place what it.
Yeah,
I can't put my finger on it.
something like a classic, like a cartoon or something. I don't know.
Was it something like Angry Vegetables or something? I don't know. I'm
Yes,
not sure.
yes, something like that. It's something.
Yeah,
I think they're talking about doing an Angry Vegetables one as well. So anyway, basically, the linemen are bags of popcorn with legs and arms, and very angry faces. So you get a bunch of those guys. That, I mean, they are. It's well executed, and you've got corn on the cob as a positional as well. Again, just a corn on the cob with a face and some arms and legs. You've got 2 ears of corn, which are the blitzers and blockers. They're big boys. And you've got, this is quite cool, the Serial Killer, which is a box of cereal. Again, arms, angry face, teeth. A pretty cool paint job there with the Kellogg's.
Yeah.
Kellogg's cornflakes, but with the corn symbol. I like that. That's really cool. And the special menu. So there is actually a few different star players. There's a hot dog. There's a bunch of fries. There's a milkshake. There's a spoon. There is 100% Forky from from Toy Story, basically, and a knife. So they've got ideas for what these star players are. So the hot dog himself, there can only be one. Morg and Thorg. You got Frylar. You got Doctor Despoiler. Plax Knife Gripper. Withered Grasp, Double Spoon, nice,
amazing,
and Grass Snack. They've done a good job of painting up all these miniatures as well. So as far as the pledges go, let's go. So you've got meal ticket for £1, which is just supporting it. A la carte menu means, which is £7. Choose any number of individual miniatures from among the 10 different designs. And it's £7 per miniature. So you can put your team together with whichever miniatures you like. If you just want to pick a couple to support the Kickstarter, you can do that. Set meal for 1. Here we go. This is what we like to talk about. We like to talk about the set teams. So your choice of any one of the available teams plus all unlocked stretch goals, £69. And then £99 gets everything, including all of the star players. So one team consists of. How do we see?
What they've done is they've done a really cool idea where you've got multiple choice of teams to match up with Blood Bowl teams. That will give you exactly what you need to fill the roster for that team, which is a really cool idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we see that kind of thing quite regularly with Kickstarters now when they're designed to like play multiple teams. And
yeah,
tell you what, as a Blood Bowl obsessed person, it's really useful. I started looking at it with some crossover. So my Browns team, the Browntown Steamers, my Underworld team, going to be painting that up to go with some of the other teams, so like the Snotlings, Goblins, and things. So they all kind of work as one big team, and this is kind of perfect for that. So you've got the Serial Killers, which is the Demons of Khorne, Plagueos with Nurgle's Rotters, Farmer's Chosen, Chaos Chosen, the Variety Cereal Pack, so 5 Serial Killers and 1 Withered Grasp and Double Spoon for Ogres. The Black Auckland Granola, 6 Ears of Corn here provide you your Black Orc team. You've got Halflings as well, 10 Popcorns, Breakfast Surprise Chaos Renegades, Lizardmen, Vampires. I think, Khemri. Quite a few teams there that don't exist anymore. Well, we've got another Kickstarter to talk about a bit later on that is all about a team that doesn't exist anymore. So they have gone all out here. The production they've committed to this. It's one of those teams that you will either really love the idea of, or it won't tick your box. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Shark team, Ben. Do you remember that from a few months ago?
Yeah, on a similar vein, of course. It's where you've got a stylistic choice, which is actually something I really like about Blood Bowl, in the sense that people can kind of just really, it's like a sandbox in terms of what you can do and enjoy the hobby, and I do like that.
absolutely. And I would genuinely love to play across a table tournament or something with this team. Now, it's important that we are honest about stuff. So one of the downsides of this team is that where the positionals are so kind of plug and play, I think I might struggle in a game to figure out who's who. Like, you'd need to put some effort in, I think, if you're running this team to make sure that your opponent knew what everything was.
So maybe just have like on the base room or something like that, the positional just to really help out.
3D printed base stuff. That's not a bad shout. Anyway, this has got 13 days to go, so it finishes on Sunday, October the 18th. So just under 2 weeks from when this podcast comes out. The podcast comes out on Monday the 5th of October. So yeah, you've got 2 weeks. Jump on, have a look. If you like it and you want to support a very individual team, then go for it. Black Wolf do some good stuff, and they've committed to the design here. They're at 1,600 out of $7,000, looking for a target. So there's plenty of time to back it and pick up a very individual team if you want one. So that is the Serial Killers fantasy football team. What is next? This is the one that's next. This is the Norba Miniatures Kickstarter. I love everything about this Kickstarter, Ben.
Yeah, we've been following this one quite closely, haven't we? Getting some little like preview models to try it like in advance, seeing it's like, what's the quality like? Like, what's the size like?
So we
almost couldn't believe it.
No, we've talked about this a couple of times before on the podcast because it was due to launch at the beginning of September, but they had delays and they wanted to do it properly when they could. And the reason it stuck with us, or it kind of pinged, was because there was a really cool Bretonnian team, spoiled, like had pictures, and it was like, this is going to be £25 to €25 for the team, and we were like, oh, okay, those are cool STLs, that'll be pretty sweet, only to find out that it's actually 16 plastic miniatures that are really well sculpted for €25. So we were immediately like, this is Games Workshop team price, like, is this real? And it's landed. There is a little bit of a translation issue because it is a very, very Spanish company and really lovely guys, actually, Norba. But it's just Warhammer Fantasy Battles. It's just amazing. I mean,
it's so very, very Warhammer. And it's not just fantasy football as well. So if you're into like armies, like you could get an entire Bretonnian army pretty much through this Kickstarter if you wish. They've got a whole lot of cavalry.
It's like basically just a cavalry Kickstarter. So I put out a little video about the Blood Bowl elements because I didn't want them to get lost in the massive element of this is a Warhammer Fantasy thing. I mean, we've got it on screen now. We're looking at some of the Bretonnian Knights sculpts, and I mean, the sculpting is fantastic. It is not the best sculpting I have seen. Like, there's some other companies, so RTLW, I think, Ben, is probably the best digital sculpting. Like, I'm
a big fan of them. Yeah, I think they really set a bar.
That's super high tier. Let's say they're 10 out of 10. This is 8 to 9 out of 10. The detail, the folds in the cloth, everything is absolutely superb. Really works well for rank and file miniatures. The cavalry, they're all independent. That guy there looks like Sam Garner. That's amazing. The guy on the right, Sam Frenzy Garner. That is amazing. Well, I'll just have to back that unit of cavalry then. So they've got all kinds of Warhammer Fantasy stuff, but snuck in at the bottom, and I'll put the link to the YouTube video in the show notes so you can, and to the Kickstarter so you can have a look yourself. Where are you? See, you got to go all the way down here, and then you find 2 Blood Bowl teams stuck a third of the way down the page. So there's a fantasy football Bretons team with genuinely 4 of the nicest knight miniatures I have ever seen. And so the team is 4 knights, 4 medium guys, okay, so yeomen if you're a Bretonnian guy, or bodyguards if you're using Imperial Nobility, and then 8 linemen, and each one of them is individually sculpted. You got a guy drinking things from bottles, you got someone eating a chicken leg. I'm just 16 individual miniatures in plastic for £23.
They're just really good. Like this is gonna, like we said this before, I think on a previous episode, where like this is gonna really push other companies into offering alternatives. Like this is STL price, and then you're getting actual miniatures. It's like I don't know. Are they gonna really? Are other companies gonna have to is this gonna lower the bar? Is this gonna force other companies to lower the price? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. And they've expressed interest in doing other teams as well.
They really have, which is amazing news for us. So they've also got an Empire team. The positionals are the same. You get 4 heavily armored knights, 4 up armored linemen guys. So, like I said, the yeomen or bodyguards for Imperial nobility, and then a bunch of individually sculpted linemen. Just, again, so much variety. And the price is fantastic. But I think it's important that we are open and honest. I have to keep reminding myself because I get very, very excited by things. But it is important to say. Size-wise, these are going to be ever so slightly smaller than Blood Bowl. Okay, Blood Bowl 32mm scale. These are going to be 30mm scale. Once they're based, I don't think that's going to matter at all.
No, like we were saying with before, it's like with Blood Bowl, you end up with quite a mix of teams as well. Sometimes you play against like a second edition team and stuff like that, and you have a different size anyway.
Even the Pro Elves and the Wood Elves, like their scale creep. Yeah. These guys are more on par with the Wood Elves than with the Pro Elves. So I mean that's because Pro Elves are Stormcast size. But look, if you're excited about nobility, but you don't like a billion feathers and stuff, you've got 2 options here. If you are going to be one of the holdouts and you're going to carry on playing CRP or 2016, then, and you haven't got a Bretonnian team, you can now pick up a Bretonnian team for no money. Okay, there's a load of people out there that haven't played Bretonnians or don't have a Bretonnian team because they can't afford one. Because the only Bretonnian teams out there are like full whack Kickstarter £80 jobbies, aren't they? Like they're blooming lovely, but
it's a lot of money to drop. And this is the 25 quid, I can do that territory, which is really kind of like
it is. It's just like, okay, well, there's nothing else going on this month. I'll pick one of these up and paint them. So these are due to be out in April. I have backed both of them. There's a bunch of stretch goals as well. So there's some star players, there's some tokens, there's some star players that have been unlocked but not spoiled yet. I just want to quickly look at the star player knight, Ben, because I thought it was really sweet. Not that guy, this one, the guy with a big dragon crest. It's just another knight who looks like he's kicking, and I think there was one of the first models I saw about this, and just it looks fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a Windsor Chog miniature.
Yeah, it looks. I was literally going to say that it looks so similar. It's. I don't know. It's just sort of the sculpting, the rendering is really similar.
Yep, sculpting, rendering, the proportions.
Yeah, it's just so very Blood Bowl. I love the dragon holding the ball. That's just like
it's got a massive,
perfect blend.
Massive hat.
Yeah,
it is smaller than the new Griff Overworld's hat.
Is it? Well, yeah. So it's like everything.
And he doesn't have a falcon riding around on him. But yeah, look, there's some really cool villages. Just go and check the Kickstarter out. Realistically, it's going to be £30 for a Bretonnian team. That's just ridiculous. You got to wait for 6 months for it, but it's a Kickstarter. Like that's just how it works. I'm just really excited to see what these guys do, and I know that they want to work with us to work with you guys to identify sort of opportunities for them to make Blood Bowl teams, and I think being able to provide an alternative for the Imperial nobility that functions both as that and as Bretonnians when the community like boosts up a Bretonnian list, I think is a real sweet spot right now. It's very fortuitous they've not gone the Amazon route or the Khemri route or the Vampire route just yet. Poor Punga, I mean they got it in just before the rope, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. Could have been really. I don't know how it would have affected them, but I think it's worth saying as well. Isn't Games Workshop have said about the Teams of Legend, right?
No.
What's the official start? Have they not actually said? Okay.
They said, what is it? They said all the current teams will be playable in Blood Bowl. I don't think they said all the teams available can, but that it's basically opens. The ambiguity is real.
It's a proper GW vague statement. That causes...
There's two lines of thought. One is that generally speaking, they've only included stuff in the rulebook that they've got miniatures for, the exception of 4-star players, which we're expecting to see miniatures for. Everything else is gone. On the other hand, in the coach's handbook, all the teams are in there, except Bretonnian, Khorne, and Slan. So there's a really good chance they'll do the PDF for the teams that aren't there, but at the same time, I don't know why they wouldn't just be in the rulebook. So there is some real concern. But quite frankly, all the teams that aren't in there could do with a bit of a rework. You and I have spoken loads of times about Vamps need a buff. Vamps need a buff. Bretonnians were never going to make it anyway. They've, realistically, Slan should make it, and I would love Games Workshop to do I wonder if we could get Norba to do a plastic Slan team.
That would be so good.
Goals.
We need to just work together as a community and make these teams happen if they don't happen, and then we can all use our Slan models.
Honestly, that's why I want people to know about this Kickstarter, is because Blood Bowl will be much easier to get into if we've got a choice of cheap teams, to put it there.
Yes.
The Games Workshop plastic ones are fantastic. It does sometimes suck when you have to pick up 2 boxes. It's not the end of the world, but it does. And to have alternatives that can be, it's just such a sweet spot. And they're not as good as some of like the Punga Grebo ones, but they are so incredibly close.
For the price, if you can factor in the price, like it is less than half the price.
Yeah. Well,
then,
about a third of the price. Is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it. Really, really, really behind this. Really like what Norba are doing. Anyway, let's move on to the next piece of news, which is I'll check in on Bermuda's Blitz Amazon Angels Blood Bowl team. So this is the team that you got the chance to print an STL file off early for, didn't you, Ben?
Yes. So just as like a print test for the 3D files and a size scale test, which was really cool. And I really like these models. I think I've said before how much I like these ones.
Yeah. The scale is a bit, they're very slight, I think.
They are slight. Yeah.
But that's absolutely fine. So these guys are sitting up. Sorry, Norba is sitting at 22,000 euros at a goal of 500 or something. So they're a million times over, and they've just unlocked stretch goals left, right, and centre. Too much to go into, really. This one here, the Amazon team, is 1,400 against a goal of 6,800. So they've got a bit of work to do, but they're 26 days to go. So
they've got a lot of time.
Loads of time. Price-wise, if you're looking for an Amazon team, which at the moment is a bit of a tough investment, you've really got to like the team, I think. What did we say, Ben? £88 for a 16-person team?
Yeah, which is on the higher end. It's on the premium Blood Bowl team.
That is
price range. One
of the most expensive Kickstarters I think I've seen. You can get 11 for 62.
Yeah, which would be a full team. Yeah, or they've also got a STL file print for 25, which gives you all of them, including the big guy.
Yeah,
26. Sorry,
that I think is brilliant. There's 11 backers.
Really
I'm assuming you're one of them.
Yeah, I am certainly one of them.
They've got a Blitz Bowl team as well, which is pretty cool.
That is a cool. Yeah, they asked for feedback on social media, and one of the suggestions that someone gave was, if you do an option for Blitz Bowl, that'd be great. And looks like that person has got that.
Yeah, one person, one backer. They've gone straight for it. Dude, we spoke about this before. I want to make sevens like a bigger format, because it would be way easier to get into a Kickstarter for £35 than it would be for 80.
Yes.
There's a market there, I think. I wonder if these guys are getting hit by the fact that the future of Amazons is a bit tumultuous.
Yeah, it's a little bit rocky. That's why it'd be nice if we get some confirmation from Games Workshop.
Yeah, we're never going to get that from GW.
Never will. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can run them as humans as well, and it's just nice to have. I think one of the reasons why I've supported this is just because you do get a lot of like stylistic teams, especially when it comes to female models, and I think having these ones where they're very realistically proportioned, very modest and sensible. They look like sports players. They're just awesome. And
Yeah.
I think that's good to have their representation in the game.
Yeah. Whoever designed these, I think, has got a definite future in
It's
making
Titan
some
Troll.
great
He
models.
has his own Patreon, actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he makes some really good models.
Superb.
He did
Love it.
the Brickfarth and Grotty that I printed, painted, and broke.
Oh, yeah. Gravity was not so kind
Yeah,
to that.
Gravity killed him. Yeah, he did that model too.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So that is the Amazon team. If you're looking for an Amazon team, jump on and have a look, because this one might be for you. And then we've got some news that is vaguely Blood Bowl related. So we've seen Bretonnian teams that don't exist anymore. We've seen Amazon teams that don't exist anymore. Ben's lamented the loss of Brick, Farth, and Grotty, who doesn't exist anymore. Now,
Physically and in the rules.
I don't think I mentioned Giants the entire last episode, Ben.
Really?
I feel like I was too distracted looking at other stuff. But now
we champagne. That's a big deal.
Well, I'm going to make up for it here. So today on Sunday, Games Workshop has put out that the preview is going to be the new Giant army for Age of Sigmar. What does that have to do with Blood Bowl? Well, you could take Giants in Blood Bowl. And now they've just upped this giant to a giant. Like there are giant models versus I don't know what am I trying to say here.
The giant models that they had are now the small linemen, rank and file troops in this giant army.
So the giant in Blood Bowl was on a 4x4 base. These guys are going to be like 6x6. No, it's 2x2 base. These guys are going to be 3x3, maybe even 4x4. I am gonna buy one, and I am gonna Blood Bowlify it, and I just because it's got to happen, and the models are fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like it can be easily done. I don't quite know how they're going to work with the modular arms and stuff like that. Like, are you going to have one of one and another of the other, or is it going to be a torso that's sculpted? Do you reckon?
You're exactly right. So there's 3 different types. One's got a club in one hand and an empty hand. One's got a net in one hand and a club. Okay, one's got a hand holding a dude and a chain. I guarantee you those arms are not going to be interchangeable.
Yeah, it'd be like the Troggoth kit is interchangeable, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But I'm hoping these guys are. The net will be fine. The empty hand will be fine. The hand holding Johan, that'll be fine too.
Yeah, that would be a good one to go for, I think, for Blood Bowl, right?
As long as the empty left hand will fit with one of the other non-club right hands, it's going to be fine.
Even if it's a snip at the wrist, the big one.
Yeah, get the saw out. I've got a little crow's nest ready, so I'll be mounting a little snotling in a crow's nest.
Amazing.
At the top, telling him where to go. It's going to be a fun modelling project. Although I am a bit reticent to order it, so these go on pre-order next Saturday. But it's October. Halloween is coming in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Surely the Necro team's going to land in a couple of weeks.
It's got to. I'm surprised they didn't mention it here, because it's really cutting it fine.
I had a feeling,
Yeah. If they don't release it at Halloween, I don't know what they're going to do, because they had that video, and it's like this team is
just the most
Halloween or nothing.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's look at the calendar. So these previews go on sale on the 10th, and they therefore come out on the 17th. They could be doing it for a release day of the 31st, which would be amazing, as we're going to be in Entoyment.
We'll be in the shop. Yeah.
We'll be in Entoyment on the 31st. So as long as
works out perfectly, isn't it?
It could be awesome. I'd be much happier if it came on the 24th. But
that's a good point, because you pick it up on the 31st, and then you're not going to paint it until after Halloween.
yeah. So I don't know. It could be next week. We get the coming soon announcement. On sale on the 17th, ready for the 24th. Mm-hmm. So I'm holding off buying a giant because I want to get everything for the Necro team, including the clothesline ghosts.
Yeah, I actually really like the team. I love the clothesline ghosts. I'll die on that hill.
I was looking at who did I do the star player spotlight for today? Oh, Gretchen, the Blood Bowl widow, and looked at the Mermon Banshees, and I was like, this is such a great alternative if you don't like the washing line guys.
Yeah, it is, and because they're all really starter kits and stuff, aren't they? For Age of Sigmar, so you can pick them up so cheap.
It's £10 for 4.
Yeah,
straight from Games Workshop. If you don't like the clothesline ghosts, pick up some Mermon Banshees. They're wicked. Just look at 7 Super Series, and you'll see Milton's. I'm pretty sure he just did a couple of
He did the Warcry kit, didn't he?
I don't know actually.
Was
Maybe.
it from the Warcry kit?
I'm sure he used Mermon Banshees.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I mean, you and I played with them like 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. I cannot remember. I just
He had
remember
the
them.
sculpted bases, didn't he? And they're usually in not Warcry, Underworlds. That's what I meant. They're usually from Underworlds, aren't they?
Oh yeah, maybe it
All
was
like the sculpted bases.
Well, yeah, but the starter kits do as well.
Oh,
The easy
yeah,
ones.
of course they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
okay.
is massive
Maybe it's that.
crossover, and I think the Mermon Banshees can now be used in Underworlds. I don't know. They kind of did a half expansion. Anyway, I don't know enough about Underworlds, but I do know about Blood Bowl. So the giants, cool models, probably can't be used in Blood Bowl. We wanted to do a big thing with a big giant pitch, but Blood Bowl 2020 swooped in and said, hold off until we announce them fully. So I'm still going to pick one up. But hopefully we will see some stuff for Necro coming soon. That'd be pretty fun. And the last thing to mention is MegaBowl, which is coming up on the 31st of October. We're going to do an update for it a little bit later in the show, talking about the changes we've had to make thanks to the apocalypse returning. But before we go on further, we just want to say I hope everyone is safe and that you are being sensible, and there's still a chance that our event is going to get too risky. But fortunately, where we are at the moment, there's like 15 cases in our local area, so we're still in a very low risk area, which is brilliant. Hopefully it will get better across the entire country so that we can play some Blood Bowl. Yeah. I think that wraps it up for Blood Bowl news, so let's move on to hobby. Okay, so hobby, games, reading, printing, buying. This is the best segment.
All of the above.
So, Ben, you've been doing some painting.
Yeah, I've actually been doing quite a lot of painting, which has been good. All new stuff rather than finishing the projects I have done, or as is tradition. But
Humble brags.
I've been trying to. Yeah. No, I've actually like set myself a to-do list of just like, I really need to get these projects done. I've like pinned up on the wall like these are all the projects I've started. Just finish them before starting something new. And then some friends were just like, hey, like Inktober, yeah, let's do like a challenge. I was like, oh, I do like a challenge. Let's do it. Let's go for it. So I started a new project. And yeah, it's on the screen. It's basically some friends said, here's a palette of like 31 colors. It's like 5 colors per palette to represent each day. You don't have to do it every day because that would be horrible, painting an entire model every day. But the idea is you paint this model just using this palette of 5 colors. So this was the first day in October. I painted this printed thing from Titan Forge. And yeah, it was actually really fun. And why I wanted to talk about it here is because doing this limited palette is really good for getting Blood Bowl team colors.
Oh, okay. What do you mean? Like, is it color theory?
So, well, kind of. It's like there's loads of palettes and they all have names. Like this one is like Peony Rose, and then you have like Sunset, which is like, orange to purple. But it's all just kind of like different, just 5 different hues, and just using that, you got to paint a model. Like you can't even, you can like do slight. I've done some like highlights and stuff to them, but it's really interesting because they're palettes you just wouldn't have thought of. Like one which is sort of like a dark maroon with like a bit of a purple and then like a pastel green and stuff like that. It's just, it kind of takes you away from just thinking, right, I'm going to do like
this has to be brown and then this bit goes on here. No, I mean, exactly. The paint job looks fantastic. Is that a bit of freehand with the flowers on the dress?
Yeah, just little dots. Yeah,
hey, that's fantastic.
I was really quite happy with it. I tried to set a time limit, but it just went way over. But
yeah, enjoying yourself is enjoying yourself, and at the moment, that's hard to come by. So
yeah,
I'm glad you got that in. No, that is.
It's not Blood Bowl, but it's good fun. So I've done some 40k too, and yeah, it's just nice to
I saw. Was it a Orc truck or something you finished?
I've been working on a Boomdacker Snadswagon. Yeah.
How could I forget that name? No, that is wicked. So what's the next miniature that you're going to be doing for the not quite Inktober challenge?
Well, nearly finished one just before the episode, since we started recording, and this is like a thief, kind of intended for D&D. It's sort of like a Eastern looking thief, sort of Middle Eastern looking, and with like loads of long cloak and ribbons and stuff like that, with like a mask. And yeah, they that's with like sort of a dark purples up to like a light blue, and then with like a maroon spot color. That's really nice. And yeah, I'm as soon as I paint them, I'm just thinking, oh, this will be a good team color. This will be a great team color.
This kind of like pastel red and green is very close to the Chaos All Stars, the original, or the OG Chaos Pact. Which was
it is
pink,
like
pink and
pinky.
Yeah. They're the same colours as like roller skates were in the 80s. That palette. No, that's wicked. No, that's cool. I mean, painting challenges are great. To just great. I mean, you're classic for this. I mean, do you remember when we did the Hangover Bowl and you were like, I'm going to try verdigris, and did an entire team in it, and then leveled up your skills doing it? Like, just it's a really good way.
I'm a big advocate for that. Just try something new, try something out of your comfort zone, and it kind of you just end up growing. And being
able to print out a miniature just specifically to do it must be terrible as well.
Yeah.
The rest of us just have to look at our pile of things we've already bought and think none of these are suitable. Now, I've got a couple of bits that I managed to paint as well. I haven't finished yet, but I'm nearly there with some of my snotlings. So this is my converted pump wagon. Still got the highlights and things to do in the base, and got some cool front panels printed by you from a secret project that's up and coming. So I'll be finishing these off in the next couple of days, and you'll see a video review of that. But I love the little plinths, and I love the snotling models, and I've just got more to do. This one I put little banners on, and the rest of the team's nearly painted. It will only take a few hours. Just need to try and find some time this week to get that on the go. But the snotlings are great. Love them. Absolutely love them. Cannot wait.
Let's just look at this thing. It's so full of character. You've got like I like how you put because he's normally on foot, isn't he? He's not like technically part of the pump wagon crew.
The horn guy.
Just having him on there, yeah. He's just so perfect. Just having him at the front.
And I've got one of the ones who's kind of like crossing his arms. He's on the roof of the other one, like directing the whole thing. And I've taken the ones that should be on and put them on spaces. So there's a slingshot one and somebody else. I don't know if there is someone else, maybe not. Because there's loads of snotlings. Not enough snotlings. You do need more. But I need more. I don't know why, but I need more. Loved it. So I actually did get a little bit of painting time in with that. It was to do with the podcast. And other hobby-wise, painting. I've been painting some Man of Warships when I got a few spare minutes. If you can see that.
Oh, look at that! That's awesome.
I tell you what, actually,
these are printed as well, aren't they?
Yeah. I cheated on Ben with another printer.
I know, heartbroken. It's fine. At least
I'm sure your to-do list is not heartbroken, man. No, thank you for printing the base stoppers. But yeah, I got a little ship. I'm liking this new camera as well, by the way. Thank you. This is like, man, do you remember like doing the old? They wouldn't be able to see that. I mean, it's not great anyway.
Camera, didn't you?
Yeah, I did get a new camera, which is pretty sweet. And then smashed my face on the battery charger when I was not paying attention. So I've got my first black eye in my entire life.
Oh, no.
I gave it to myself with a battery charger. Got home, just had like a horrible month, really. And just, when you want to be dramatic and you're like, oh, it's such a hard day, and you just kind of belly flop onto your bed.
Yeah.
Well, that day, my battery pack had turned up. I'd opened it, gone, yes, I like this, then went off to work, leaving the battery charger on my bed, invisible at night, and just absolutely face-fived it. That was an incredible.
Really fell onto something to like give themselves a black eye, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I stacked into it. Everything went bright white. Like, it was amazing.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's one of those. But yes, got a bit of painting, and literally all of my hobby time has been going into just keeping up with doing the videos for YouTube and stuff. So I'm going to use this moment to apologise to all the people out there who've sent messages and are waiting on responses. I just have only had a couple of hours every other day to respond to stuff or just to do videos. And I don't want to seem selfish, but I enjoy doing the videos. So when I got a choice of like time, I've taken that opportunity to do the videos and just to get that done, just because I find it relaxing. But I've got this week off, which is lovely. Sort of this week off. I'm off to one of my stores tomorrow or Tuesday. but should be off. It's Tiff's birthday on Thursday, so shouldn't be doing too much work. So I'm hoping to actually finally get back onto our Discord, because it's been a month since I've been on there. That's how long life has been busy for.
Work is actually it's become, it's for something which I thought would sort of be easier with working from home, and I know you don't work from home, but speaking from my behalf, sometimes it's a lot more stressful and a lot more overwhelming. So the fact you have to go in during this climate, that's stressful. Just take it easy, and same goes to everyone out there as well. It's a stressful time for everyone. So.
And I feel bad complaining because I am so lucky that I have a job, because there is a lot of people at the moment that don't.
Exactly.
But if everybody would just awfully wouldn't mind stop panic buying, that would be tremendous. Because basically I moved house, set up the studio, and I was like, right, this is going to be sweet. We're going to get on track. So I started clawing back with some of the podcast stuff, and then Boris was like, do you know what would be a great idea? Pick a number between 4 and 8, and that's as many people as you're allowed to be friends with. Which apparently everyone who shops near my stores took to mean, oh my god, we're going to run out of toilet roll again, and just went crazy. And I'm not talking like small amounts of increase. I'm talking, like 25-30% increads. Which
we didn't run out last time.
No, but this is like general sales. This is like immediate. Like I had a few days off. I went back into work and I looked at the sales and I was like, oh yeah. So Boris said this day. The day after, we had a spike and it has not stopped. Which, at first is like, oh, we had a couple of tough days. Now it's just like legitimately hundreds of man hours worth of work that we are just trying to find a way to make work. And it's just very interesting. And we're seeing the north of the country getting locked down. Like, if you look at the map, Ben, because Ben and I are in Southampton, I'm in Hythe and Ben's in Fareham ish, and you could kind of see just like it's just cascading down the map like fire towards where we are. Like the north went, then Wales is going, and now London's creeping in, and it's just like us and Poole, just about okay.
King's Landing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh my goodness, like where are the dragons? And that stupid auto beam dragon. That still annoyed by that. But I mean, it's good to have a job. It's great to work with people during a time where things are tough, because you actually get to support people and you get to help people take their minds off things. And I'm really lucky in that part of my job is supporting people. So when we did lockdown the first time, 30-40 people furloughed or shielding, and it was great to support those people and then make the operation work so that you could, and it's all great. But geez, it's just non-stop. And then you've got family, then you've got the wedding. Sorry, this is turning into a bit of like an agony aunt moment, isn't it?
A life rant.
Yeah,
it's okay.
We don't do this very often, but
no, it's important, and people listening, I'm sure, are all feeling very similar. I mean, everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Where, it's pretty crap. We just want to play our games. We want to paint our models and show them to our friends.
Yeah.
And we can't, and it keeps going back. But it won't be forever.
No, but Tiff and I have cancelled the wedding.
Really?
Yeah, because it went from our original guest list to 30, and I'm not going to lie, I was chuffed at that point. I was like, this is sweet. I don't have to worry about the aunt's best friend that I have to invite because the aunt's nemesis is like, it was wonderful to drop down to like, 30 people. I don't like that many people. And Tiff, as my soulmate, is there with me. So it was kind of like, 30's all right. Then they dropped it to 15, including everybody you can imagine. Like the photographer and the person holding the ceremony and their dog. And you're being allowed to invite 4.5 people to a wedding. Yeah. And it's just like, so we're paying X amount. It ended up being something like £300, £350 a head.
Wow.
Just like for the beginning, and we were like, I don't know if I even love you that much, sweetheart. Those were her words to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to kibosh the wedding. We're going to take that money, put it into things we actually want to put it into, like our future. We're going to go get married at City Hall, or however it works in the UK. Bless her, she's done this bit. With a couple of basically with our parents. We're going to go get married, and then as soon as the apocalypse is over, which I'm expecting to be around about our 1 year anniversary, then we'll have a party, and we won't have to pay the wedding tax, and we can invite everybody and not worry about politics or anything like that. So, like, that bit is good.
Very good idea.
But that's what we've been going through as well at home. Like, it's just, man. And I'm going to vent even more, Ben, because I haven't spoken to you in 3 weeks or whatever it is.
This is our time to catch up as well, by the way, guys.
Haven't seen Ben since we recorded the Seven stuff. The tournament, okay?
Yeah.
I am so torn by this tournament. On the one hand, I am just absolutely buzzing as heck, which will definitely come across when I do when I explain the update stuff. But at the same time, like, you look at the maps and you see that everywhere north of the third house up the road from me is on fire and is in lockdown, and we're sitting here and we're allowed and everything's fine, and we are applying 15 out of 10 health and safety regs to make sure that it's safe. We're doing groups, we're doing like all the social distancing that Entoyment, which is hosting us, is amazing at. So there is 100% no reason we shouldn't run the tournament. But just living in this element of we're just waiting for it to be cancelled is just rough as well, because I don't want to get too excited. But there's 4 weeks to go, and I'm really excited.
It's this weird limbo where it's allowed, it's legal, but should it be?
Yeah, should it be? Know. That's it. So, so we can run it, and it's fine, and we're playing by the regs, and it's there's loads of stuff going on that is way more integrated. So we're being ridiculous, just worrying about it. But at the same time, it's like I don't want people to be stressed out about coming to something while something big's going on. And
we will stress as well. We'll stress the point. If you are in any way uncomfortable, don't come.
Yeah, absolutely.
We would never want you to do that.
But we don't want to. It's this is going to sound really gratuitous, but as an event, it is bigger than just a Bonehead Podcast event. It's the first and last tournament for Blood Bowl 2016 during a really awful year. And we've got like 20 people booked up, I think, and they're all just so excited to come and play Blood Bowl safely. And I don't want to take that away from anybody, because I want it too, but it's like, I want this, but should I want this? It's the KFC of events for me. It's like, I want it, but it's bad for me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, entirely understand.
But anyway, I'm looking forward to it, and whatever happens, there'll be Blood Bowl somewhere, so it'll be fine. But as it stands now, it's all going ahead. Entoyment are good, the government are good, our regs are good, the pre-planning's good. Everything is all set. I've got a few more prizes to organise, but we've got 4 weeks, so that's time. It's been the longest prelude to a tournament imaginable. Oh, that's because our last one was February. Yeah, right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think we've been preluding the prior tournament. Up to this, so.
Yeah, this will be pretty lush. But yeah, that's what's going on in Benland. How about the other Benland? Anything else going on with you, man?
Yeah, more or less echo what you've been saying, really. Not to the extent I haven't got a wedding to cancel, but yeah, no, I've booked some time off, which will be nice. We're just going to Cornwall in the middle of nowhere, just with my girlfriend's family. Just a small group of us, just to, it's kind of more, we're all getting a little bit cabin fevery, so we're just going to go somewhere remote, away from people for a week, and just reset. And I'm going to take some paints. It's going to be great. I'm going to try and get some teams painted up, which would be awesome. I've had that was actually Anderson's suggestion, which was awesome. And I'm snagging it. Doesn't always tell me to take some paints. I'm just like, what? You're saying I should? Hell yes. So maybe get her painting as well, which would be awesome.
Yeah. It's the endlessness of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. If you're right, it's going to be a horrible 2 months. Yeah, no worries. We'll have a horrible 2 months. We'll find a way around it. It's it could be fine next week. It could be not fine next week. But
Yep.
I'm just going to say it again. There's a load of people that are in a worse place.
Yes.
So we're very, very lucky. And everyone out there who's got dodgy health or just dodgy work environment, please just do everything you can, take care of yourself. And please don't hate on us too much for chatting, but we've had a lot of you guys message us saying, we like it when you talk about real world stuff. We like it when you talk about
much more real world
about you. Yeah. So there you go. You asked for it. That's what's going on. And I'm really sorry if I've not responded to one of your messages or anything. I am just genuinely mentally overwhelmed at the moment, and I just it's just frantic. I'm hoping this week is just going to give me going to get me back on track. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to sit in a corner and paint things, but it's such as life.
You should sit in a corner and paint things.
I don't even have kids. Like,
I don't know how dads do it.
I have no idea how these people do it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So that is mostly it. Oh my gosh! Actually, let's go to this now, Ben. There was another thing that was on my hobby list. On Tuesday, I should be. Obviously, we don't know anything anymore. Going up to our local cafe area where we hosted our league in the before times with Ian, and we're going to do some measuring. And we're going to pre-plan the tables and things so that, assuming the regs don't change and it's safe and wise to continue to do so, we can start opening up the cafe for league nights again.
That is genuinely very exciting.
It's so exciting. It's just weird to be doing it when everything's getting worse. It's just seems very counterintuitive. But we're going to check it out. But because of that, I've been looking at stuff for our next Wobble League.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought we'd talk it through for a minute, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it. We're going to do it for 6 games max. Okay, so 3 months, 6 games max. That is 13 club nights to play 6 games. So we're going to have to restrict numbers. So if you can only come every other week, you get enough time to get 6 games in, which I think is more than fair. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to give every team a certain amount of SPP at the beginning. So when you build it, depending on your tier, maybe. That's the one thing I haven't decided yet, because everyone kind of gave me mixed feedback. Originally, I thought tier 1 gets 6 SP, tier 2 gets 9, tier 3 gets 12. For you to share around your players in threes, 3, 6, 9, 12, you can split it how you like, but only in batches of 3, so that you can start off sort of juicing up some players, or you could take some random upgrades, or just to kind of give it a bit of a boost to the league.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is we're going to kind of do more of a tournament-based prize system. So there's going to be a league final and all that kind of stuff. But there will be, most casualties. There'll be most completions. There'll be, stuff like the top stunty team and things like that to kind of give you something
sort of
to
like
aim
a lot
for.
of people. Yeah, exactly. More people can walk away with something. I remember you did this on the league, the season that I joined the club in.
Yeah,
you had that because I remember having the casualty. I think I got the casualty difference award or something like that, which was like a -13.
Oh wow, yeah, we did the Wobble Awards night.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Yeah, I love that.
And it's going to be everyone's going to get Wobble dollars as well. I'm going to bring Wobble dollars back. So we did this thing before in our league where you get Wobble dollars and you can use that on your current team or on a future team. So say you run I don't know, Ben, what are you planning on running for league this time around?
I really can't decide. Let's just go with Pact.
Okay, cool.
Let's go with Chaos
So
Pact.
Ben can't decide. He's going to run Pact because that's his go-to at the moment. He plays 6 games. He does well. He scores the most casualties, but decides that going into the next season, Pact isn't the one. But he won 40k from Wobble dollars. So his next team, he actually gets a bit of that impetus. Like, I did this stuff, I get some petty cash that I can use to boost up my next team. It's just that's how we do prize money in Wobble, because we are not mono gamers and we are not mono team people, generally speaking. So there's going to be Wobble dollars for like top passing, top casualties, top stunty, and because I like my spreadsheets, one thing I've been brewing up is a passer rating. Okay, they have this in the NFL, and I love it. It means nothing. Like, it's the most garbage stat imaginable. Even the guys who do the NFL stuff are like, He's got a 112 passer rating, which is really good, but the stat means nothing. Well, naturally, I was like, I want a stat like that. For our guys.
Meaningless nothing stat.
Yeah, but it's essentially completions divided by your passing stat. So the worse passer you are, the more points you earn by actually passing. So basically what it means is that the top passer rating of the league won't be, the pro elf thrower. It could be a halfling, it could be a goblin.
Okay.
It could be a dwarf thrower whose passing now dropped to 4+. I kind of like that idea, and I do want to do additional MVPs for basically SPPs divided by cost as well. So if you get a Snotling with 2 touchdowns, he might be the MVP of the league, because actually it makes sense for gutter runners to get loads of touchdowns. It does not make sense for Snotlings to get loads of touchdowns. Just stuff like that. Just to add a bit of narrative and to add a bit of value to this season, because I think this season is going to be limited. I think it's going to be fractious, and I think it's going to be a warm-up, because it's going to be our first Blood Bowl 2020 league, and it's going to be during the hopefully tail end of a pandemic / beginning of a new one. So you never know what's going to happen.
It's exciting though. It's exciting to go back, and if you've got all this new stuff, that's even better. I think I've definitely said it many times in this. One of the best things about Blood Bowl, why I love it, is the game outside of the game, and so having all this stuff to follow all these stats, that's just juicy.
I think it's really just about trying to milk as much game out of the limited games we can play.
I really hope my colleagues don't listen to this, but I've spent time at work, probably too much time, brewing up team sheets. It might be club night. It would be a Tuesday. I'm there just oh yeah, I'm on my lunch break, and I'm just looking at Excel, just being if I drop this, I can take this. What skill up do I need to take?
Well, there you go. If Pact are a tier 2 team, you've got 9 SPP to chuck in there as well. Do you give one guy a specific level up? Do you save up for that 12 to get the double? Do you spend 3 to give 3 randoms? I think it's mostly in there because I want to take Black Orcs this season, and I really like the idea of 3 of them just starting off with strength skills. Just chucking it on there immediately. Winning.
That's going to be brutal.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get the Black Orcs.
We've got the new teams. Maybe I'll go Imperial. Well, I don't know. Maybe do I'll put some teams in a hat and draw. Let the gods decide.
The sad thing is, Ben, Christmas is 2 weeks away. I don't think Hangover Bowl could happen this year either.
No, I think we need to rebrand it. I think we'll just have a wobble cup or something like that. We just do a New Year thing, and we can postpone it if we want, but just an annual night of sevens.
I think that's.
It doesn't always have to be mixed. It could be something else. It could just have a wacky theme in true Bonehead fashion, just once a year.
How about a troll bowl, Ben? Everyone gets a troll.
You done it. That's it. Cheers.
I thought you'd like that. Troll bowl 21. Groovy. Right. I think we should probably move on to our first topic.
Well, yeah. Let's do that.
So if you follow us on YouTube, you are probably bored of star players by now. We've been going through the star player spotlight every day, looking at a different star player, looking at their new rules in Blood Bowl 2020, their teams, their skills, their costs, what they're good for, what they're not good for, and because miniatures for the win, looking at some of the miniatures you can buy to represent the model on the pitch as well. So what I thought we'd do is Ben and I have a chat about basically the state of play when it comes to star players in Blood Bowl 2020, because it is, I think it's really different to 2016 and how it used to be. And
yeah, they're now more named characters in Wargames, like Warhammer and stuff like that, than they were.
They actually are, and I don't know if this one's out yet at the time. I don't know anymore. There was one star player spotlight that I did, and I was talking through this character, and I came to the realization that it was not a star player. It was a positional that you could take on your team. And I feel like because the star players, generally speaking, their cost has dropped, and the majority of them have got a little bit better. It was the Fat Skaven. Glart. It was Glart.
Yeah.
Because Glart is 195k. Strength 4, block, claw, jugs, grab, loner 4+. Does stuff. Or you can take a Rat Ogre at 150k. And when you're in that territory, I mean, it is really like, actually, Glart's not a star player. He's not there to star the game out. Some of them are, though. He is there as a build option for your team. And, you know, there's two elements to the whole star player thing. There's what I think you and I don't know, actually. We've done a lot of tournament stuff now. I was going to say, I've come across is like the myriad of leagues where you get to take a star player and you only really choose them sometimes and all that nonsense, to tournaments where you kind of build lists around them. And I think that both of those like elements have been massively affected.
I think you're absolutely right in the tournament build. I think League is more complicated because a Rat Ogre you can just buy and roster. A star you kind of have to rely on the other team having the team value of more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's not like something. I don't know if has Blood Bowl 2020 kept the rostered star players, because that was always a thing you could do but never would. You can like buy them.
With the cost implication was just awful. I think Rich wanted to do it once and then was like, hang on, I got to pay 30k at the end of every game. That's garbage.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah. I'd still roster a wizard though, but that's because wizards. And they're in the rulebook. I lost Giants, but I kept Wizard. Well, Wizard.
Yeah. They'll never go. We love the Wizards too much.
So, basically, we talked about the first bit there, is that the cost has gone down. So, Morg, who used to be 430, is now 340. Deep Brute was 300. He's now 280. Generally speaking, the cost of most of them went down, and there's only two groups now. Mm-hmm. There's the stuff that's 150 to 220, 230, which I would call the mid-range stars. And then there is the stuff that's bigger, so 250 plus. Generally speaking, I think the stuff that's 250 plus, like Ben said, for League and at that cost for tournament, they're build-arounds. Right?
Yeah.
Whether it is you're running a stunty team and you're keeping the TV low, so when we went through the rosters for 2020, looking at some of the stunty teams, the ones with low-cost linemen, halflings historically dropped to 600 all the time so they could take Deep Root and a chef.
Yeah.
That's a build-around. If you're going to build around a star, which that is what that is, then the big boys, Morg, Deep Root, and Grack and Crumbleberry, who for me is the massive winner of this entire thing, then you got that, which I think is what you're getting to. The mid-tier stars, the 150 to kind of 250k, so that got better. A lot of the stars in that bracket got cheaper. So, I think Grim Ironjaw is now 200k for a strength 4 frenzy block, dauntless, multiple block kind of guy. And there's just, I feel like they just got a lot of heft in that cheaper bracket. But that is probably because the cheaper bracket, so the biggest change, so many star players do not exist anymore.
We've lost all the ones that you kind of just take. Like, the amount of times we just take Fungus the Loon.
Yeah.
In the Goblin team because he's, 80k?
Yeah. Fungus, gone. Nobbler,
so
gone.
Cheap. Yeah,
Bomber,
they're all gone.
Gone.
Cheap chainsaws are not a thing anymore.
No. There's one chainsaw, and it's Helmut Wolf, and he's 140k.
Yeah.
Like Ben says,
quite a lot to ask for a lot of teams who want them.
It is.
I've been up against undead teams who would take. Who was the chainsaw? The skelly guy.
Well,
he was
there
cheap,
was
wasn't he?
There was Bruce Campbell. But there was
he was actually called that.
Yeah, but there was one.
No wonder he's gone.
yeah, maybe that's it. So you got the Black Gobbo, who's 225. Deep Roots 280. Eldril is 230. Glart 195. Glorial Summerbloom, amazing star player. Go watch the video for Glorial, because that is interesting. 150k, that's a sweet spot for a star player. She's like the cheapest star player. Gracken Crumblebuns 250. Gretchen, the disappointing Blood Bowl Widow, 260. Super Griff 280. Grim Ironjaw 200. Hack Flem 180. Helmut Wolf 140, Carla 210, Lord Borak 260, Zug, 220, cheapest strength 5 player I think out there. Morg, 340, Roxana, 270, Rumbelow, 170, Skrull, 150. The Swift Twins, 340 as a pair, Varag, 280, the White Dwarf, 210, Willow, 150, and Zolcath at 230. So going through that list, there's only 2 stars that are over 300, and one of them is a 2-for-1. So,
yeah,
like the cost of stars has dropped, but they have bunched up in the middle. And from that list, there's only a few that are less than 200, and it's really interesting. It seems like 200k is the sweet spot for stars. And I don't know, Ben, how often do you get 200k in a league?
Oh, very rarely, unless you're a stunty team.
And I think because we don't know when Blood Bowl 3 is going to land, Blood Bowl 2020 is going to land first. Its landfall is going to be on the tabletop. And tournaments, those guys who are 200k, you can build a roster around that. You can definitely build a roster around a star that's 200k. Ian Triplo did it at Beachhead with Griff back when I think Griff used to be more expensive. Griff got better, by the way. He got a stupid bird and a massive hat. But apparently that makes him play better. So
you get him in the starter box as well, don't you? So
yes, you
start off the bat with him.
Do so. That's
and Varag, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Varag, who's the same price, I think, also 280, and he got hefty and all.
He got extra strength, didn't he?
Dude, Varag is just pro now. 6/5, 3+, 5+, 10+, block, jump up, loner, mighty blow, 1 thick skull. And once a game, when he blocks somebody and they fall down, you get an extra +1 to armor roll. So
let's talk about this. So they all have, like, this is the thing with the new star players. They all have these special rules.
They've all got feats now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like what I was saying, where they're now the named characters. They all do a thing.
Yeah, Ben, yes, that's a really good shout. So I don't know if you ever played War Machine, but the Warcasters in that had a thing called a feat, which they could pop once a game, and it gave them a special boost or a special tactic or something like that. Now the star players having that, I love it. I think it's really good.
I love this so much.
There's a range. There's actually a couple that are exactly the same. So Zog and Varag have exactly the same one, which is Crushing Blow, which is once per game. When they knock a dude down, you get +1 to armor, in addition to the Mighty Blow they've got already. Like, that's not OP, but they're quite varied. So Borat comes with half a leader reroll. If you don't use it in the first half, you get it in the second half. So he comes with a reroll. So this guy's 260 for a strength 5 big ass dude with block, Mighty Blow.
He's essentially 160 because, or more, I guess.
Let's say
minus 50.
Let's meet in the middle. Yeah. 210.
210, yeah. Because
he comes with half a reroll. So yeah, that's what I mean. This mid-range bracket got souped up. There's a couple, I think, which are. Is there a couple that's no good? I think there's just one that's no good.
Which one's no good?
Which one was it? Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah, there's a couple which which I just think are. Oh, sorry.
I was going
to say Deep Roots is actually really good.
I was going to say Deep Roots is interesting in that if he fumbles a dude when he throws him, he just lands safely. Actually, you know what? I'm sure I came across them when I was doing the things that I was like, it's not great, but it's okay. Carla's is amazing. Once per game, when Carla successfully rolls to use her Dauntless skill, she increases her strength characteristic to double that of the nominated target of her block action.
Oh, that's so nuts.
So going for that sweet 3-die block with a single assist. And she's strength 4 anyway, so winning.
I guess Zolcath, with it, he gets like Hypno Gaze on his Edge 4+ is not.
That was it.
Brilliant.
Yes, yeah. Good spot. Yeah, that's. Zolcath's not bad though. 230 for a strength 5 big boy with prehens for a Croxigor with disturbing presence, basically. That's not bad. But yeah, once a game he has a 4+ Hypno Gaze.
It's the kind of things where it's a once per game and then you have to roll a 4+ for it. It's just like,
no.
Yeah.
That's bad. So yeah, Ben, you're right. They've all got these special abilities, and the special abilities, they add flavor. They add a little bit of a boost outside of stats. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know about this. You're moving my cheese, man. But it's a build around. It's it's like it's a list thing now.
It's like you've now got your legendary, your mythic that you're building your deck around, and you've got, you've got this thing, and you're just like, okay, right, I need to pull off this thing, and you can help your team out with that. Like, you can go for the throw players with Deep Root because it's just so. I mean, you would anyway, but it's now way safer to use him as your thrower
because it
means your trees can build into something else.
Yeah, because it's Deep Root. Like, why is this happening? Because it's Deep Root. Oh yeah, it just makes sense.
Exactly.
And the White Dwarf is really interesting. Once per team turn, when one of Grombrindle's teammates that is an adjacent square is activated, that player gains either Break Tackle, Dauntless, Mighty Blow +1, or Sure Feet. So he
so awesome.
Just makes someone next door to him better.
Every time.
Yeah, Mighty Blow is probably where you want, but actually, Break Tackle could be useful.
Break Tackle's pretty good.
Given that +1 to dodge for the normal sized folk, or just Dauntless, or just it's just something.
Sure Feet, they go for it.
Yeah,
it's the end zone. Yeah.
I I love everything about it. So we've done a positive. Let's do the old sandwich. The negative sides is that some of these stars, where they got cheaper, are really going to come up a lot in tournaments, and I think there's a lot of feedback in the community. But people don't like change, in the Blood Bowl community, bless its little heart, has had some tough times this year. They've wrecked Underworld by changing a player, and then they introduced half a team in the Old World Alliance, and then they just wrecked the entire Blood Bowl game by introducing passing stat. And it's
there's no hidden like meaning behind any of that.
No, absolutely. Thousands died. It was just the no, but like a lot changed. And one thing that I actually can understand is there's a lot of guys out there that are running the numbers, and they're like, why would you not take these star players? Like, Ben, let's talk Age of Sigmar for a second. I don't like Age of Sigmar. Not because I preferred Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I think I do prefer Warhammer Fantasy Battle, but I don't like AOS because there's just power builds. And if you don't take the power build, you're just giving up so much win percentage. It's the same as Blood Bowl. It's if you don't take your blitzers, well, you take your blitzers. You take your blitzers.
Yeah.
Okay. AOS, you take these specific units, which means there is entire positionals, entire units in AOS that just you shouldn't take ever. And it's different in Blood Bowl because it's £40 for 24 guys, and if you don't use all of them, it doesn't really matter. In Age of Sigmar, it's £20 for 10 guys, and you need 30 of them, and you can spend £60 on a unit that all of a sudden becomes completely irrelevant. And that's,
I mean, and this is also coming from you, who is a Magic player.
Exactly. Like I like rotation. I like things getting slightly worse, slightly better. Like I like the change. That's why I love the NFL so much. It's not as perfect as it should be, but 1 year the Browns can be rubbish. The next year the Browns can still be rubbish, but they shouldn't be. And it's nice to know that they shouldn't be rubbish. Although Mayfield's having an all right season so far. Come on, Browns, do something. It's like that meme, with the snake and the kid poking it with the stick. Like, do something. Do something. Just do something. But I like that kind of flux. And the star players now are really quite good. And there's a couple that stand out for me that I think people might get bored of. And for that reason, I think I agree in part with some of the guys in the community that are saying, for the first few tournaments, I don't think we should run star players. I think we should run the teams and let the teams play out.
I can understand that. It's a lot. This is quite game changing for a tournament build.
It is.
Sure.
I mean, Ben, you've had a look through the stars. Are there any there that you think are particularly good, particularly bad, particularly cool?
One's immediately rung out to me. I think Deep Root is great. As I said, Borak I think is an absolute beast. And the reason Borak was a big thing is because I play Chaos teams a lot, and like he's going to be amazing on like a Khorne team.
Right. Well, Corn. Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually.
Don't mention.
Okay,
Don't mention
I'll
the
take that
Corn.
back. He's going to be amazing in any team other than Corn.
Right. But Borak is a great example. Generally speaking, with the exception of one, all star players are now worth taking. Borak before was 300 and something, and he was just a big dude. It was just a big dude. You're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Now, he is a big dude for less than he used to be, with Dirty Player +2, and he brings half a reroll with him. Like,
think of a pack team. Like, you get a choice of 3 big guys on a pack team. Now you get a choice of 3 big guys and Borak. Because here's another one.
Exactly, which makes it really exciting for builds. But yeah, I mean, there's a load of star players there. I mean, do any of them stand out to you as being particularly bad?
Honestly, no. You mentioned Gretchen.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about that before. Or I think you guys did. I think I was more reading. She has a place, but I wouldn't build a list around her.
I just can't see her ever being taken. All the others, there is an argument there. I know Sam Frenzy Garner was a bit sad by his White Dwarf boy. White Dwarf, 210, 533 plus 4 plus 10 plus block dauntless mighty blow 1 stand firm thick skull for 210. Like, he's not as good combat wise as Grim Ironjaw, who's strength 4 for 200k.
Yeah, I feel like also the White Dwarf should be strength 4 or something. Like,
yeah, no,
just
it
for the
seems
character
like it.
he is.
But his special rule every turn gives a skill to a local player. So if you want to go, that makes sense for you to take Grombrindle. But with that Gretchen woman, 260k for a 7/3 2+ no passing 9+ dude with no hands and just no block and no wrestle and no tackle. Like, she's got shadowing, sidestep, disturbing presence, foul appearance, so she can follow stuff around. But quite frankly, I think she's just a gift at 260. My plan with this model is to stand it next to one of yours and let you punch it. Baffling, absolutely baffling.
She can be taken on Necromantic, yeah.
She can be taken on Necromantic.
So
you can have 3 guys with no hands. If optimal building there.
That's exactly it. You can have, but you can pay 260k to have 1 annoying player, or you can have 4 tackle zones. It's just like with just normal players that can carry the ball.
I know it's peculiar, but all the star players have a place. But I think this is the next biggest change, is the way star players are aligned to teams. So gone is the can play for humans. Now they've all got keywords. So we saw this, and I think we guessed this as well, Ben, when the first leaks happened. Each team has got a bunch of secret rules, special rules, and those special rules are either special rules or are a keyword to allow your star players. So, for example, Snotling teams. Bribery and corruption, low-cost lineman, underworld challenge. What that means is bribery and corruption, half-price bribes, low-cost lineman. Their linemen don't count as TV, the 4 skills. And underworld challenge means nothing except Glart Smash Rip, any team with either favoured of or underworld challenge. So it's expandable. They can bring a new star player in and say you can play for these teams. But my point was, people are now, they've got multiple teams, and stuff got spread out. So Deep Brute historically was just halflings. Now it's halfling Thimble Cup or Old World Classic, which is dwarf, human, imperial nobility, ogres, halflings,
Old World Alliance as well.
Old World Alliance, yeah. So Deep Brute can be taken by a ton more teams. And
really cool.
This is the thing that I was saying. It's like there's a bit of a shuffle round. It's because Glart Smash Rip now plays for Chaos. As does Hack Blem Shuttle Spike. So Ben, you've got your Chaos Pack team. You've got whatever your team is. You haven't decided on, but any team with the favoured of or Underworld Challenge special rule, you can now for 180k take a Movement 9, Strength 3, 2+, 3+, 8+ Dodge, Extra Arms, Loner, 4+ Prehensile Tail, 2 heads. You can take a Strength 3
really cool. Star
player Gutter Runner now on your Chaos team.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That changes
I love
things.
This a lot.
That
and you mentioned actually, you said like exactly going on to this. You said they can add new star players in and to give them these keywords, but on the other hand as well, they can add new teams in and give them those keywords.
They can. So all the Chaos ones have got favoured of ...
Exactly.
I think Nurgle actually... Does Nurgle have favoured? Oh, it has favoured of Nurgle.
I think it's favoured of Nurgle.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any specifically Nurgle stars.
No, I mean, Lewd Grip's disappeared, Ripper's disappeared. There's a whole extra middle filling of that yes, no, yes sandwich there that, we lost some big guys. But happiness time, Grack and Crumbleberry, 250k, you get an ogre and a halfling, and that halfling comes with sure hands, everybody. Can be taken by every team, every single team. There is no team you cannot take it. If you want to have throw teammate on your undead team, well, time to rufflecopter your way to victory there, because you're throwing a halfling. And when I did the Grack and Crumbleberry Star Player Spotlight, something I just could not hide was my sheer glee at the fact that, Ben, pick a team right now, any team, go.
Human.
Pick a better team.
You put me on the spot. I went vanilla. Okay, we'll go for Blackhawk.
Alright, sweet. If you want to have Grack and Crumbleberry on your Blackhawk team, there is no reason you can't bust out your Ripper miniature, convert up a goblin with a bunch more spikes or something, and that's your Grack and Crumbleberry to fit in with your Blackhawk team.
Yeah, you just need a big guy, little guy.
You
can
need
do anything.
Any big guy, little guy combination, and it will fit your team. If you want Lizardman, you can get a cool Croxagore miniature and a skink or something. Just a converted skink or a frog or just something. You can build it up. So it's kind of... I just absolutely love that. But at the same time, we've mentioned Magic the Gathering before. Magic gets bad when powerful colourless cards happen. When powerful things can be taken by everybody, it warps the format. And I think this is what people are worried about with star players. So Grack and Crumbleberry can take part on any team. They are 250, so they're in the build-around range where you have to sacrifice things to buy them unless you're a stunty team. But when you open it up, it becomes interesting. So we've seen that Grack can play for everybody. Who else did you mention earlier? I can't remember now, but...
Borak, Deeproot?
Yeah. Borak is just favoured of. Carla Kill, Halfling, Thimble, Lustrian, Old World Classic. I think that's pretty much normal. Zug plays for everybody because he's a friendly guy. Not quite everybody. All the good guys. Varag, Badlands Brawl, Underworld. So they've got some clever crossover. Willow Rosebark is now only Elven Kingdoms. There's only 3 elf teams. There's just that opening up of some people to everybody can be scary. But one thing I think is really, really great news is that Amazons have gone for the time being. And with that I don't know if you paid much attention to the World Cup builds, Ben. I don't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, Amazons with Roxanna was a team type. Like, it wasn't Amazons, it was Amazons with Roxanna.
You remember you saying that?
Yeah. Like that was like the build. And Amazons are gone, and Roxanna has got Elven Kingdom special rule. So Amazons, where they had that same cost as humans, could afford a top tier star, now can't. So Roxanna, who is just the most ridiculous star player in the game, can only be taken by elf teams. And if an elf team can afford 270 on a star, they've left a lot out of their list. Yeah.
I feel if also Amazons were to come in, they would probably gain like the Lustrian Super League, maybe.
Yeah, definitely Lustrian Super League. So they could have the Zolcath the Zote.
Yeah, or Mighty Zug. Yeah.
Roxy is amazing. 8-3, Edge 1+, Passing 4+, Armor 8+, Dodge, Frenzy, Jump Up, Jugs, Leap, Loner 4+, and once per game she gets Sprint. Okay, she's a bomb. She's not quite as good as I think she was before, but she still stands out. Her and Griff, for me, and Hackflem Shuttle Spike are all stars that can single-handedly win the game. Everybody else seems to support your team doing. So Lord Borak, Grim, Glart, they, like you said, Ben, with Lord Borak, is your fourth big guy. Like, these guys are positionals as part of your build. And that works for tournaments, but I don't think it works for League.
It's going to be really tough. I'm intrigued to see. I'm intrigued to play the League and see how it goes with working out the cost, because money has changed. Like, the economy of the League has changed quite a lot in this new edition. We don't really quite know how it's going to play out until we play it.
Yeah.
Quite hard to visualize that. It might turn out that you end up with some really wacky TV differences, because firing players is no longer a really common thing. You guys don't skill up. They don't have to skill up as much as they can, so you might get these slower build teams that are building up for the high ranking SPP stuff, and they get left behind, and so they do end up 200k behind teams who have just leveled.
Yeah.
So it might come up more often.
And that's for a balanced league where everyone starts at the same time and plays around about the same amount of games. What it does do is, we're big on catch-up mechanics in Wobble, because it's important to keep everyone involved. But actually, rocking up to a league where people are 12:30 is not the end of the world, is it? 12:30 is all right. Like, I think you've played a few games where you're 200k down. You've now got a lot of star players. So if you're 200k down with your pact, Ben, you take Hackflem 93238 and a bunch of skills. You can win that game now.
Oh yeah, it's on the advantage, you know. I've got Hackflem.
You've got Hackflem, and every touchdown is 10k. So
exactly.
We've historically said, "Ooh, be careful of star players; they steal your SPP." But I don't know. If every touchdown you're scoring is netting you 10k, and you want to build out your roster, get that extra reroll, get that extra big guy, taking Hackflem for a few games where you're down and just hooning through 6 touchdowns, that's 60k. That's a huge amount.
Really good point.
And if he dies, doesn't matter. So I think, while they are very powerful, it's going to be a useful catch-up mechanic. My only concern is that bringing a new player into a league where they have to take a star player is real. It's a massive jump. It's like, hey, here's the basics, and now figure out which one of these star players you want. And they're like, what? So
not to mention, like, if they feel in pressured to get even more models and stuff like that. I think at a club we'd have like a pool, ideally.
Absolutely.
Going in.
Well, we would have done. Yeah. Not allowed to touch each other's models now, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Put blue tack on this Black Orc. That's now Hackflem. Yeah. I don't know. So overall, biggest changes for stars. Generally speaking, they've gone down in cost. Generally speaking, they've got more useful, and they can now play for more teams. I like it. I am in a massive, like, oh my goodness me, we can build a human Grim Ironjaw build. What does that mean? Like, I've got Grim Ironjaw on my halfling team. That's sweet. Like, from a building roster's point of view, I'm just happy, Ben. From a league commissioner point of view, I think it got better for our guys. And from a TO point of view, I think it's going to ramp up the competitive edge.
Okay, but I think that's possibly a good thing, because tournaments are a competitive scene.
Tournaments are a competitive scene, but I think, let's think about Beachhead. There weren't a huge amount of star players taken.
No, I don't think I played. Oh, I played against Deeproot.
Well, yeah, but he's a positional more than a star player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like now at 1200k, Beachhead was 1100, so I think I liked that. No, was it? Yeah, it was, with a bunch of skills. So it incentivized taking a team. Now I think we're going to see more star player builds than team builds, and the part of me that loves reviewing and analysing a meta is like, this is sweet, but I don't know if it's good for their health. I wonder if it becomes less about the team and more about the star players, and that is a Games Workshop trait.
And the meta is fun, but Blood Bowl doesn't really change.
No.
Meta's good when it changes.
Yeah, and I don't think the community could take more than a couple of changes a year. Just because it's been so static and it's been so comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. So I know I was being flippant earlier, but Blood Bowl's amazing, and it was comfortable for a really long time, and it was a safe space, and now it's gone from being your casual show to it got an injection of cash. This is now up. This is literally like when Firefly went from Firefly to being Serenity the movie. Like, it's great.
No, that was a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, Wash died. It's not spoilers when the movie's been out for 100 years. But yeah, like, things end. And we lost Ripper, we lost Puggy. There's a lot of stuff. For now, I'm really hoping that they're going to rock on back. Like, we're going to have this PDF of dreams, and it's going to be full of Khemri and stabby star players and chainsaws and madness.
And like we say, they've got this favour of keywords now, or like their keywords. They can add in new players and new teams so easily now. They don't have to like retrofit saying plays for this team, this team, this team, and this new one.
Yeah, I like that. I do think that's clever. I mean, I don't know. I think they're going to drip feed us. I think it's going to go back. Do you think we're going to have spikes again, Ben?
I think so too, and that would be I think they would have even more of a place now. Like when they used to have them, and they were great, and you got all like it was really good for like lore, and you got some bonus stuff, which whether you use or not, it's fine. It's fun to read. But now I think they're going to function like they're doing with like 40k and Age of Sigmar, where they have their like packs.
Their expansions.
Like they've just released like the Crusade mission packs, where there's a bunch of new missions now, and like all of that lot, and you get some extra stuff, a little bit of lore. Yeah, I think it might be more like that now, where it's just like, we get the star player pack, the Lustria pack.
And you know what? If every 3 months we got a spike that landed with some star players and a team adjustment, I think that would be the sweet spot for Blood Bowl meta, because the changes they've introduced changes, but none of them have been like a massive redesign of the team. I know what they did to Necro it hurts some people's enjoyment of the game. I know what they did with Underworld. Really, that was that. I've joked about it, but actually, it was a big part of the Underworld identity that they changed. I don't think we'll see that now in Blood Bowl 2020. I mean, do you think we'll see spike magazines that come in and affect teams that are in the rulebook?
No, I don't think they'll ever go in and do that, unless they have some real issue with balancing, and even then I don't think they will, just because Blood Bowl isn't really about fine-tuning teams for balance.
Yeah.
I
mean, part of me
I don't think they will. I think they'll introduce a spike with a new team and maybe a bunch of players like they have done before.
Yeah.
It'll be like a brand new thing.
Some inducements, star player, maybe a new rule or something, like Giants. Come on, Giants. And I think I like that. And I think every 3 months to tweak a team or to introduce a new team, I think that will be brilliant. I think any more than that would be a lot. And any less than that, I'm fine with. I would like many teams per year. And I'm with you. I don't think they will redesign the teams that are live in the 2020 rulebook, which is a bit of a shame, because I would like to see the Nobility team get a little bit of a power boost at some point.
I'd like to see it. I'm not sure if they will. They may change stats. They may change costs.
Well,
but I don't think they'll change.
I hope the Blood Bowl Widow is 100k overcosted, because 160, she's a great star player, does some stuff.
Yeah.
260, why the heck aren't you taking Grack and Crumbleberry? Because that's 2 players, and one of them's strength 5, and one of them's got sure hands. And that stuff does stuff, and you get 10k left over. You can just spend on Fanta. You can just you can just buy lots of
flesh golem and
wow, dude!
Think of the modelling opportunities when they command to Grack and Crumbleberry.
Or a giant.
Have like a cat. I don't know, like a big flesh golem and a cat.
I've got one more Blood Bowl speculation question for you, Ben.
Okay.
Or, I don't know, like, how would you feel? Let's go with that. How would you feel if in June they released a £15 hardbound book? Actually, I think £15 might be a bit cheap. How much are codexes these days?
25, I think.
Oh, good lord, that would be that'd be rubbish. I'm going to stick with my £15 original price, because it's a small book. This one, it's only 40 pages, and it's called Blood Bowl Imperial Nobility. And they tweak the roster, introduce a couple of star players, and I don't know, they give it the spike treatment, but they do it to a codex level where they offer alternative builds as well, where they've got Imperial Nobility from Outdorf and this, or Imperial Nobility from Nuln, and you get a star player or you get a person with a bazooka. They've got alternate lists in. How would you feel about Blood Bowl if it went that route?
Okay, I'll speak from a player and like a hobbyist.
Yes.
That's awesome. Let's say I am an Imperial player. I love my Imperial team. They've just given me some new toys and some like new units and some cool stuff I could do. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm gonna empathize with you as a TO and a league commissioner, and that sounds like a living hell.
Are you kidding me? Just more stuff for the spreadsheet. I don't know. Like, I don't think that's what they'll do. I think they'll stick with the spike releases. If they don't stick with the spike releases, then you'll get... They've got to do spikes. It's the best way to drip feed. It's the best way to make money off as little information as possible. I think, frankly, from a business point of view,
yeah,
4 spikes a year, that's 40 quid. And an almanac, which is 30 quid. That's 70 quid a year for 4 pages worth of rules. That is a cracking way to deliver a cash incentive and keep Blood Bowl alive, even though nothing's changed. Like, that's just very clever. Everybody wins, really. But if they did go with like army books for Blood Bowl teams with alternate builds, I can see it being. I can see it happening. I don't think it will, and I think it's probably a good thing if it doesn't, because that would massively change Blood Bowl. But
I think it would, yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it before, but like, think about it, man. A Skaven Blood Bowl Codex. You've got Clan Eshin teams. You've got Clan Moor teams. You've got just, dude, that would be.
Now we're in Secret League territory.
Wow,
yeah.
we are and beyond. If you think about the Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition rules, they had alternate rosters in the back of the book. They were like, do this. All you do is you increase this option by this and reduce this option by this. And it was the Orcs and Goblins had a great one. They had loads. They had like a Goblin Wolf Rider army list, and it was Wolf Riders are core, and these are rare. And it's just.
Actually, you make a really good point. Yeah, if they. Okay, so what you're saying is not adding new positionals. You're just saying if you build it like this, you get a special rule.
Yeah, the special
rule.
rule.
What you're saying?
Or, I mean, Skaven is the prime example, where you take a Clan Eshin roster, you get no blitzers, but 6 gutter runners instead.
Yeah, okay, no, I really like that.
It's like,
I think that's really cool.
All right, that's interesting. Or 4 blitzers and no gutter runners. You know, just, they're not doing anything. They're not introducing new models. They've shown an aptitude, and it looks like they enjoy reusing miniatures they've already got and maximizing the cost of one book. I think there's a huge amount of design space there, and I think Blood Bowl 2020 gives them a shake-up. And if they don't go the spike route, they could be the army route, or it could just be a general's handbook route. But I think, I don't know. I would like to see the spikes continue. I think it works better for the game.
Yeah, it's fun and theme as well, you know. The whole Spike magazine is very on theme.
It's just, yeah, it's really great. But or they could, like you said, Ben, do rules pack things like a star player supplement. I
think what they might do is a god one, because they've said they've got the favourite of the god keyword, and the only time they've used it is on Nurgle, where they don't even really use it. I think we might see like a Zinch spike or something like that, where maybe they introduce a new team, which would be really, really kind of cool.
Ooh.
Or they give you some star players, which are like all Zinchy star players, or they do Slanesh and they bring back Lewd Grip.
So at first I was excited because I thought I was extreme liking Giants, and I thought you were just going straight in for gods. Like, okay, I'm going to play Sigmar blocks. It's a 7 die block. But actually, you know, like doing a Nurgle Blood Bowl thing, and you could have Nurgle humans, you could have Nurgle Skaven. Again, more expansions, and I don't know, man. I don't know. They've started something with Blood Bowl 2020.
Oh man, yeah. You build your human team like this, and they gain the favour of Nurgle keyword, and
Nurgle's Rock or
something. Disturbing presence or something. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Just slight alternate builds. Cool. There's just so much there, and I don't know whether it would be good or bad, but it would be. It's in their gift, and we've got to be very aware that these things could happen, because that's a very marketable way of doing it, and they're not doing Blood Bowl for. They're not making Blood Bowl for the guys who've been playing Blood Bowl forever now. They're making Blood Bowl for the new players. Every game does this. Every game does this. You bring in new stuff to entice new players and get old players to buy new stuff.
Which is awesome.
Which is Magic the Gathering's been doing it for 7,000 years. Games Workshop have been doing it now successfully for 20-something years. And Blood Bowl, I can see them carrying on because it's just a little bit of effort for a little bit of money. I think. I don't know. And as a TO and a commissioner, dude, a couple of teams every 3 months is nothing at all. Like, nothing. If they start changing the build of each team, so like the Underworld is probably the only one that was a bit sucky. Because it's like, okay, all you guys with Underworld teams, now you're in this limbo where you can't replace dudes and you can't buy new dudes. That was not great. I can't see them doing that very often, though. I think it's just going to be adding. I think by this time next year, we'll have 30 teams in Blood Bowl. And I think a couple of them will be new.
Yeah, I can't argue. I think you're right.
Maybe not like brand new, but like Old World Alliance new.
And maybe they're like reintroducing some of the other ones. Khemri, stuff like that.
I really hope they do. But I don't think any of those teams would suffer for a rebuild. Amazons, get rid of those blitzers. Yeah. You need 2 of those blitzers. Like, come on, take 2 blitzers and give them a Croxical.
Some skill diversity as well.
Yeah,
the team is just a bit bland, isn't it?
Norse has got too many positionals. Lose a berserker or a thrower. Pick one. Go. The Yeti is sweet though. Keep the Yeti. Khemri doesn't. I don't think Khemri needs a lot of change. I think it's a solid tier 2 build. I don't think Khemri needs changing at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I kind of wouldn't like it if they got some guy who can pick up the ball properly, because I think it's in their identity to just be all bash and
it is
struggle.
If they got a little bit of extra movement, or their rerolls went down, or just something to boost the team up a little bit, like they did with Nurgle. Maybe everyone loses 5k, so you can actually afford an extra reroll. That would not hurt. But the identity, the 4 Tomb Guardians and the Edge 2 everywhere works a treat. Vampires need something spicy, whether it's a positional, like some blitzers.
Probably another positional with that, yeah.
But vampires, for example, is just something that is absolutely gagging for an army book style. Like, here's a vampire team. You get 6 vampires and these thralls. Here is a von Karstein team. You can take blitzers. That's a blood dragon team. You can take blitzers on a blood dragon team. Von Karsteins get zombies. Larmians get something else. I don't know. There's just some scope there, and I can see them exploring it. I can see
Games Workshop. I hope someone's listening.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd get hunted down by the Blood Bowl community if they ever took any of my ideas on board. Don't even get me started on Dungeon Bowl.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so excited to see what happens. But we the new game isn't even out yet, and just very exciting. Right, yeah. At some point we talked about star players.
Yeah, I think we probably covered that.
Yeah, let us know. Seriously, let us know. Get in contact and or put it in the comments of the video on YouTube. Just let us know what your thoughts are of the next steps for Blood Bowl 2020. And also what you think of star players, whether they're OP, whether they've broken the format, or whether they've just added another interesting design element. Because I am fascinated to see everyone's opinion on this. Because I don't know, it's a delicious moment of discovery. Right, let's move on to MegaBowl update. So we kind of covered this on when we're rambling on about life and hobby and the virus and everything, but it is time for a MegaBowl update. So we have got our tournament MegaBowl coming up on October the 31st at Entoyment in Poole. Love Entoyment, great shop, doing really well. Online service is brilliant, so please do support them if you fancy shopping somewhere. They've got the same Games Workshop prices, I think, as most online retailers. If not, then it's just a few extra quid. So, bear that in mind. Entoyment are a great online retailer and they support the heck out of us, which is brilliant. So, we have got a tournament, and this tournament has become more than just a tournament. So we had 4 tournaments planned. 2 of them have been cancelled. This one is now shoveled from Tombstone, which was a horror-themed one, to MegaBowl, which contains a bit of everything. We've got secret teams from Secret and Stunty from Fumble. We've got mixed teams from Bonehead Bowl, and we've got Sevens games from Sewer Bowl Sevens. This has turned into a bit of a celebration for Blood Bowl. And with the Blood Bowl 2020 leaks and Blood Bowl 2020 landing in December, this is a goodbye tour. This is a farewell tour for everything we've done with the podcast for the last couple of years and everything that we've loved about the CRP. And, you know, it's terrifying that we've got a pandemic at the moment, but I was talking to Ian Triplow, I think he commented on one of our YouTube videos. I was like, this is a farewell tour to all the stuff that we have just loved and grown with the community. You know, Sevens is sweet, mixed teams is so sweet, the secret teams for horror and stuff, it's all stuff that is not mainstream Blood Bowl. And the fact that people are interested in that just shows how deep the Blood Bowl game is. And I love the work the NAF's done, and I love that there is a competitive, like, standardizer. But I get, detrimental comments saying that I've not been to enough NAF tournaments. Well, I don't think I'm missing out, Ben, on Blood Bowl.
We've had a few tournaments. You've now run a lot.
Yeah.
And we've been to a lot. We've done online ones, like you say. Yeah, it's an experience, and I think it doesn't really have to be super serious all the time. And I've done a NAF tournament, and I've done a wacky tournament, and honestly, you get more fun with the wacky one. I hate to say it. That's how I found it.
I think we just need to rebrand our silly tournaments to game days, and MegaBowl is the ultimate game day. So the format hasn't changed. It's still 4 rounds, and the first round is 11s. And like I said, there's all those different types of teams that you can take. I think it's something like 450 different options. Games 2 and 3, however, change into 7s format, and game 4 reverts to 11s again. Now, when it comes to 7s, depending on your tier, when you build your team, you get your tier from whatever team you've chosen, and that tells you how many skills you get and how many players you can run in 7s. So, for example, a mixed team with a tier 1 and a tier 3 becomes a tier 4. A tier 4 team, looking at the rulebook, gets 2 normal skills and 2 double skills that you can give to anybody on your team. All right, no worries. You just give them the skills. And then in 7s, you get up to 9 players. So you sit down for your 7s game, you meet James. James is playing Dwarves, and then you look at your roster and you circle the 9 players you want to run in 7s. And then you put them on the board and you play a game of 7s. Now, this is going to be super 7s, right? This is going to be 7s with stars and big guys and everything. It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah. And what a great way to say goodbye to Blood Bowl 2016 than with some of the secret teams that may be going away. The mixed teams rules that may get a little bit more complicated now with 7s. We're not sure what's going to look at. We need to talk about that soon on the podcast, Ben. About 7s and Blood Bowl 2020.
Definitely.
But the update for MegaBowl is that hasn't changed. But in order to make it safe and in order to comply with the regulations and quite possibly the law, although they're not very good at telling us what's the law and what's not the law anymore, the rule of 6 is in force. So what we will be doing is breaking down our contestants into groups of either 4 or 6, depending on the numerics and how they work out. So on one side, it's great because it means we're going to cluster people together so they only play games within that grouping, which is safer. So there's less chance of the virus being spread around wantonly. Okay, that is a positive. The downside of that is that if you are in a 4-player group, you will play someone twice. However, we're going to make sure that the person you play twice, you play in either round 2 or 3 and round 1 or 4. So you'll play them with 11s and you'll play them with 7s, and that is going to be 2 very different games, right, Ben?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the team I'm thinking of taking plays very differently in both 11s and 7s.
Is it the Where team?
I think I'm going to take the Were team.
I think you might have to take the Were team, and
yeah.
but like it's a bit of a farewell. So
exactly,
Richard's bringing Killer Randall, and Killer Randall's really torn because he's like, well, do I take Chaos Dwarves, though I don't know if what they're going to be like next year? Do I take my Beastman team? You know, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to run them again. And it's like, why would you not? Like, you know, and there's so many options for teams that you may not get to run again. Like I'm just absolutely torn, as you can imagine, between some kind of stupid Snotling Underworld combo and my Tzeentch team that I fell in love with when Alpha Wolf ran it in, I don't know, Lockdown Bowl or Bonehead Bowl or something. Because, you know, big hand, little guys. It's wicked. It's just so cool. There's so many different teams. The 4 in a group it sounds a bit rubbish, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think it's going to end up that last round is going to be a grudge match, one way or the other, in a different format. And I think the teams that excel at 11s might suffer in 7s. And t'other way around.
We've seen it with teams like Dwarves and stuff, which, you know, they do play extremely differently.
Yeah, there's.
Actually, I really haven't seen Dwarves in many tournaments though. That's the team I probably see the least in the tournament setting.
Yeah. I had a thought about this today, actually. Right, this is a complete aside because I am just in chatting with Ben mode now. Tackle, I think they missed an opportunity to redo what the tackle skill is. I think they should have made tackle gives -1 to people dodging away from somebody with tackle. Instead of the no reroll thing. It's still having defender stumbles, but if you put that instead of the normal tackle skill, I think more people would take tackle. You know, I was thinking about the Black Orc team. I was like, well, actually, you know what? Chuck in tackle on them. Oh, actually, tackle does nothing. Like, there's no point. I might as well just give them block or mighty blow. I was like, but if it was -1, then actually having that front line of 6 dudes, when they get in tackle and people can't dodge away, like elves cannot dodge away, but if you've got dodge, you're still better at it. I don't know. There's a rule change there that I think they missed.
It does just cross over with Prehensile Tail, though, doesn't it? That's the issue.
Oh yeah, it does.
It ends up becoming the same skill.
Yeah, but I can't give Prehensile Tail to Black Orcs.
Yeah,
Come on, Chaos expansion with mutations for everything. Right, back to MegaBowl. So yes, the update is there are groups of 4 or 6. What that does mean is that we cannot do Swiss across the entire tournament. So there will no longer be a single MegaBowl champion. There will simply be multiple group champions, and we're going to change up the prize order so that the groups get prizes. So a group winner gets a decent prize rather than the tournament winner gets a mega prize. I think that's just going to be better. I think it's going to be better for everybody.
More chances to win as well.
Yeah,
which is cool.
We'll do an overall winner in points if there is one. We'll do an overall stunty in points. I'm thinking about chucking in the junior champion as well, Ben.
That's a good idea.
Because
like an under 18.
Under 18, yeah. I think that's overall like that. We'll get these prizes out. I mean, I know I'm going to twist your arm and see if you can print off a few extra bits and bobs for people, which could be really, really cool. But I got a bunch of star players and stuff ready to give away, and I think most people are going to walk away with something really cool that they're going to like, and they would have played 4 games that they will not replicate, I guarantee.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember Bonehead Bowl last year? Like, that was just...
some of the most memorable stuff happened in that tournament, which is very cool.
Just games you're never going to play again, and this MegaBowl event is an event that it will literally never happen again. You will never have access to these rules again. You will never have access to these teams like they are. And hopefully, you'll never go to a tournament during the apocalypse again. So, this is why I'm so adamantly determined that if we can run this sensibly, that we do. Because this is something special that I think is just going to be a celebration of Blood Bowl. And I'm so excited.
Hopefully it won't end up looking like the graphic behind you for audio listeners. That's currently on fire with smoke.
Yeah, I get a lot of messages from people saying, "Oh yeah, this needs more explosions and things like that," tongue in cheek. So I was like, right, MegaBowl, we're going to have flames, we've got smoke, and it's going to be orange smoke. I didn't put shaky cam because that makes people vomit.
Yeah,
we don't want that. We want wellness, people. But yeah, I mean, Is there anything else you think we need to cover regards to MegaBowl? I think that's...
No, other than just reiterating again, if you are uncomfortable, please don't feel pressured to come.
Seriously,
that is not what we want. That is not. We don't want to be forcing people to do what they're not comfortable with.
Absolutely not. We've said it time and time again. If you've booked a ticket already, if you're one of the 20 people that have already booked and you are nervous about coming or you just don't think it's wise, just send us a message. We will refund you the ticket, no problem at all. If things get hairy, if the numbers increase, if it decides that actually this is a bad idea, we will pull the plug. So I do apologise. If we do pull the plug, we'll host a one-day fumble event instead, and we'll post the prizes out to people and we'll do coverage of it. So we are going to run this if we can do so safely. If we can't do so safely, we will have Blood Bowl entertainment on the 31st of October. Do not worry. The other thing is, what we're going to do is do the groups by tier. So we always ask for rosters in early. That is so I can prepare a nice little rules pack for people so they don't have to worry about printing their own out and they can give a sheet to other people. Not sure if this is the year for that anymore, but what we do need is your roster in so that we can adjust the groups by tier. We're not going to fix anything. We're not going to say you're the tier 1 group or anything like that. What we're going to do is try and spread it out as evenly as possible. So that if you're in a group, you're likely to have a stunty team, you're likely to have one top tier and another middle tier, just so you get the full gamut of Blood Bowl experience. And if for any reason you want to be in the same group as someone else you're going with, for example, you're bringing your kid and actually you want to stay in the same cluster, please just let us know and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Because this is a game day, not a tournament. This is a celebration of Blood Bowl, where you can come along, play 4 games that you will probably never repeat on the tabletop, and probably win some prizes doing it. And I've got at least one new 4K camera that we are going to set up on a feature match table if I can get it working, so that we can hopefully stream. If not stream, we'll record and then we'll do commentary afterwards and we'll get it up, because it's just a great opportunity to just do stuff with Blood Bowl, and I just hope everything goes okay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's all just hope at the moment, which is fine.
I'm glad you're coming, though. I am glad you are coming. I'm sorry that it came at the expense of your trip to Thailand.
No, it is okay. Like we kind of mentioned earlier in the hobby ramble, it's one of those things where if I would have gone on holiday, I wouldn't have enjoyed it to its full ability anyway. So it's better that we just save the funds for next year.
I guarantee that if you come to MegaBowl, you'll enjoy it.
Exactly.
You'll get an experience anyway.
Yeah, no, it's less pressure on this one.
Cool, absolutely. Right then, Ben, I think that wraps it up for everything for MegaBowl, and therefore that wraps it up entirely for episode 52. Thank you all very much for joining us and listening, and hopefully you're all doing safe and you're all well. And just get in contact. Let us know how you're doing, what's going on with you, what's going on hobby, how you're feeling about Blood Bowl now. I'm excited, but I'm very aware there are a lot of people out there whose cheese is being moved, and something they've loved forever is changing. But remember, within your group, you can play whatever rules you like. So we don't force people to play with secret teams unless you come to one of our tournaments. But if you just want to stick with 2016 in your league, there is nothing that can go wrong. Like, just play the game you want to play, and
exactly.
Just keep remembering that. And in that case, you're in a great spot, because all that's happening for you is you're just getting new miniatures from Games Workshop.
Yeah, pretty cool ones too. Very cool ones.
Really cool ones.
What they're pumping out.
I'm really excited for the Necro team. I know that the ghosts are, divisive, but
everything else is a 10 out of 10.
It's just cool. It's just really cool. And
it is very cool.
And there isn't a Necro team out there at the moment that isn't, half the size and on eBay only. So, yeah, what can you do? Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for me. Ben, thank you ever so much for joining me. I know it's been a long episode.
Thank you. Love it. But it's always fun.
It's good to catch up. And right, we will sign off. Guys, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you again soon.